With just 2 weeks until Election Day, pretty hard to believe, Democrats in the media are taking a page from their old playbook, ramping up the anti-Trump rhetoric and comparing him to Hitler and other dictators. Check out these recent headlines. Trump is speaking like Hitler, Stalin, and Mussolini. Trump's rhetoric is fascist and violent. And Trump is straight up talking like a Nazi. Those are real headlines from real left-wing publications, totally irresponsible. And here's what Democrats and the liberal media are saying.
I know it's a loaded word, but when you say you're going to be dictator on day one, I mean, look up the definition of fascism, the characteristics of a dictator, an authoritarian. I mean, General Milley said it himself, but Trump, again, reinforced it himself. So I don't think it's overstating.
This is stuff from the 1930s. This is Hitler stuff.
Yes, he is an authoritarian figure.
General Mark Milley was quoted saying Donald Trump is fascist to the core. What is driving Harris to support this language publicly?
I mean, it's the truth. It's what people believe. And I think that she wants the American people to really take a hard look at who she is running against and who could be the president and in charge of the nuclear codes.
Yeah, I mean, he's a feral guy. Like, he's a very animalistic human being.
I think this one is, don't risk it with this. This is dangerous talk. This is the talk of dictators.
Really responsible after 2 assassination attempts, right? Nice. Vice President Harris, meanwhile, campaigning on the Trump is a threat to democracy message.
Someone who suggests we should terminate the Constitution of the United States should never again have the privilege of standing behind the seal of the President of the United States. Never again. Never again. Never again.
But it doesn't appear that the joyful strategy is working. A new Washington Post poll, look at this, found that more voters say Trump would do a better job defending democracy than Harris. Guy Benson, we've had Trump for 4 years. He did not try to pack the court. That's something the left wants to do. He did not weaponize the DOJ. That's what the Biden-Harris administration did with the pro-life community. He did not lock up political opponents, but we've seen the left try to do that with President Trump. So, I mean, who's a real threat to democracy here? We know what Trump is.
So one thing I would say, first of all, the shouting and the pointing at the seal in that line, she's been delivering that one verbatim with the exact same hand motions and intonation now over and over again. Yeah, so she likes that one. Democrats actually went down this path in the midterms. And a lot of people on the right ridiculed it, that speech that Biden gave with the red columns and all of it, a little apocalyptic. And conservatives said, oh, this is ridiculous. Voters aren't buying it because look at the economy, look at immigration. And actually, it worked fairly well for the Democrats, especially with some of those suburban and moderate voters that they were clearly targeting with it. So I would just caution Republicans saying, like, there's no need to respond to this, or it will obviously be ineffective. I'm not sure it is so obvious based on the midterm effect and what we saw there in the phenomenon. We are 2 further years beyond January 6th, though. 2 more years of people being sick and fed up with what Biden and Harris have done with their leadership. So I do wonder, maybe is the impact of that argument diminished compared to 2022?
That is a very good cautionary tale, because the blood red MAGA speech that I thought was nuts with Biden definitely did do something in the midterm. So very good word of warning there. Emily, going back to Hitler, Mussolini, fascism, I mean, this line just stands out to me from the U.S. Secret Service report, but the Secret Service as an agency requires fundamental reform to carry out its mission. Without that reform, the independent review panel believes another Butler can and will happen. So another Butler can and will happen. So let's call this guy Hitler.
I know, I actually thought what you said quickly earlier just hit the nail on the head. The attempted assassinations on the former president's life, Pauline doesn't begin to cover it. And this rhetoric stokes that fire. In fact, we know there's a direct correlation between rhetoric and people's behavior. Immediately in the aftermath, there was a moment of unity against political violence and, more importantly, against that rhetoric. And for some reason, it came roaring back tenfold. And for them to invoke, yet again, this very stale playbook chapter, I agree, of the equating him to the Nazis, when the irony to me, the disheartening, disgusting irony to me is, as Pastor Matthew Mayer points out, this playbook is one exactly from that era indeed, but one of the Democrats whose narratives control the media, whose narratives have been controlling the youth in a way that is absolutely frightening. And you are right that they are relying on this totally passé narrative. They are ignoring the American people's needs. They are ignoring the policies that would lift them up. And they are hoping that the Hail Mary of equating this human, this actually dignified, wonderful gentleman with animal and so much more, that will work, when all it will do is stoke the flames further for political violence. It is reprehensible.
Harris, like on this show yesterday, we watched Trump speak about Helene, and we watched him speak to voters of North Carolina, and we just watched him speak to Latino voters, and you don't see what they are saying, this caricature.
Look, this makes me doubt that she was an effective prosecutor, if but putting a lot of black men behind bars about marijuana, and now she's trying to make good with marijuana as part of her platform to win back black men. I mean, it's really confusing, but I'm also confused about the fact, the laugh, I guess that wasn't real. The joy at the DNC, I guess that wasn't real. The anger is palpable. Is that real? Yes. Because that anger, that hate is not about policy, it's about a human being. And if people want to stay in that space, it's sick for this country, because be careful about what you ask for. We've got a man who's faced 2 assassination attempts. When Biden declared, an act of war if Iran keeps going after Trump, notice he didn't say both candidates. He said only Trump. Now, is that because he knows about how deep the threats are against Trump? Or maybe he sees that, this is really only going to go for one side. Our side is safe. I don't care what it is. It's not right. It's not right to put somebody literally in the crosshairs.
Kennedy.
Well, I just wish that she would use some of that fiery rhetoric and go to places like Columbia and UCLA. She's standing there going, never again, never again. Why aren't you going to some of the pro-Palestine, pro-Hamas protesters and saying that to them? Why aren't you reminding them how dangerous and deadly Hitler's rhetoric was, especially when it was put into action? Where was that fire? Where was that steel spine? Where was that conviction? She only deploys it when it's absolutely convenient. And, frankly, it's offensive. Also, when you've got Whoopi Goldberg saying that Trump is like a bug. He's like a bug. And then Biden slams his hand on the View desk as though to squash the bug after 2 assassination attempts. And they've got the moral high ground here.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They've undermined their own argument. I'm sorry.
Do they not have the history of some about the Jews calling them termites, like Farrakhan and others? Do they not know their history when you bring up an insect with regard to a Jewish person?
And
How sick is that?
You heard the other commentator say feral animal. So dehumanizing terminology.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.